Hey, what's up? This is DJ Pro Style.
And this is Penny Delas.
And this is Teach Me Something.
Brought to you by Berkeley College. All right.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back, mis amores, to Teach Me Something podcast.
Yes, where experience meets elevation. Like that?
I so love that.
I love that, all right?
That's phenomenal. When did you write that?
I wrote that, you know what, some time ago. It just kind of just, these things just pop up in my head. They just flow like that.
You're
I
so
gotta
quick
use
with
that
it.
line.
Hey, hello, this is DJ Pro Style.
And this is Penny Delas. And we are so excited because we have the incomparable Calixto Chinchilla con nosotros with us today as we're celebrating 25 years of the New York Latino Film Festival.
Amazing.
Welcome.
Yikes. Thank you. That was a great introduction.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's
No,
great
I
at
appreciate
introductions,
it,
by
yeah.
the way.
Oh, thank you.
Every time we have a guest, they say, that's a great introduction.
Oh, that's beautiful. There's so many compliments. Let's wait for the other shoe to drop.
I love the energy already. Let's go.
Yes.
This
I'm
is us.
prepping
This is
myself
who
up
we
while
are.
I'm
Okay.
We get spicy in here. For sure.
But since its founding, NYLFF has become the premier Latino film event in the United States, elevating voices, breaking barriers, and creating a powerful platform for Latino storytelling. So, Calixto, let's start at the beginning.
25 years ago?
25
Wow.
years ago. How did this come to be?
You know, I always keep saying it's a crazy dream, but it really was that. You know, I was that young filmmaker that had a short film that was struggling to be seen. And yet I worked with so many collaborators of color at the time. And we made this film and we had no place to play. And there wasn't like a Tribeca Film Festival. There wasn't anything Latino. There wasn't any festival of its kind to come out. And while I was making that short, I had learned a lot of lessons about the business. You get screwed over. You learn contracts, all this other stuff. And I said, well, wait a minute. I can't be the only one that lacks this knowledge. And so you have that lived experience that I was going through. And then you had a larger conversation of Latinos. You know, we were going to be the next big thing. And this was like in 99, 2000 when reggaeton was beginning to come out. Everybody was curious. Latinos are going to be the next big thing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it turns out we didn't own anything.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, wait a minute. If you have an industry that's curious about us, and you have these creatives that are kind of waiting in the wings, and you have an audience that's kind of like in the ether, just in the middle of it, how do we bring these three things together? And that's when the idea of creating a festival that educated the industry, that developed audiences for the work, kind of came to be. And that's when the film festival came out in 2000.
That's awesome. And back then, 25 years ago, the amount of information, now you could just go online, and figure out, how do I create a festival? How do I do this? Back then you didn't have any of that. So you probably really had to dig in and figure these things out.
Yeah, you were working on faith, because to your point, I didn't know even if there was enough content to warrant the film festival, right? And so there wasn't no social media. There wasn't no film freeway. There wasn't anything. All I had was the street team. And I had people who owned, friends that were working ad sales that had drop ads that would give me the hookup or whatever. But everything was on the what if, which is scary when you're trying to, raise money for something that you don't know it exists, but something in your soul tells you that it exists. I can't be the only one. In the United States, there's filmmakers everywhere. Now, how do we find them?
Yes.
And that's how the first festival kind of came to be. And I literally was convincing companies to come on board and invest in a dream that had a lot of what ifs. And yet I had to be the most confident person in the room. And mind you, I was young. I was living with my moms. I was 20. This was not in the cards. I was working 2 jobs.
Yeah.
Doing this, and then I had this thing, and it's I think I'm gonna ride on this, and I don't know what was in me that God, that motivated me to do this, and that's what I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
And back then, to what you're saying, even with the Latino market, you had to sell it, to get people invested in to be intrigued. Fast forward 25 years later, everyone's trying to figure out how to get in on the Latino market. I could say on the radio side, it's at the top of the food chain of we need to figure out ways of how do you sell it, how do you you talk to sales, this, that. If you're not getting the Latino market, you can't win.
Yeah. I mean, we were lucky, you know, HBO was our partner from the inception.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other journey of how that came to be. A lot of that was, again, just being, you know, confident what it was. And I found that I had to play the part of the executive director. I had to play the part like I had to be my best believer. Because again, the other side of my brain thought, like, what are you stepping into? And then once HBO believed in it, then it kind of went full steam ahead, and then you become a public person to a certain extent, but also like with that, there's a responsibility. Okay, now you got to deliver. Now you got to make this happen. And so, you know, just by everything alignment, you know, the festival kind of hit out the gate, you know, and I think it stays relevant by bringing more people in. So I think, you know, when we first came out, I didn't work with any friends. I met everybody. I wanted a whole new team. I wanted people I never worked with. And so as far as, you know, community building, I think we were that from the day one. And we continue to be that way now. We bring in constantly new people. As you know, Penny, you've been to the festival. You know, we look at new creatives, from photographers to designers to our producers. We want to bring people in. That's the future, right?
Yeah.
That's how, for me, that's how you create legacy.
Yes.
And so, and I was that kid. I'm literally trying to, you know, I want to do that. You know, what was it for me? Like, I had a lot of people that gatekeeped on me, which is fine. And there was a lot of people, even my own people, that didn't want to talk to me. But they talk to me now, I guess. So it's different, and I don't take it personal. I realize it.
Part of the game, right?
But it's part of the game, but I don't need to play the game. I don't need to be that to anyone else. And so that's one of the things that we do at the festival is to provide that equity. Before equity inclusion was anything, it wasn't that when we first started. And ironically now, it's not that. 25 years later, we're still going through the same problems. It just looks different.
It's interesting que como Latinos hemos pasado una trayectoria that we have all faced some of those same adversities in our own way, because when we all speak together, it's like, we went through that. We went through that.
You know what the entertainment side is.
Exactly,
this music side, you know exactly what it is.
In our own way, and it's...
And back then, you know, it was very machismo. You made your deals in the clubs. You were in the clubs. You know this. Yeah. You know, whether it was at Quarters or whatever, Club New York. My first parties were at Club New York. So, you know, you had the guys had the budget. And so you had to mingle with that, and I had to deal with that, and I couldn't even get into a club when I first started the festival. So I was lucky. I knew friends at the door and all that, is who you know. But whatever, that's another story. But you know, you find yourself having to play that game, and now it's different, right? I think all of us have grown, and you know, the scene is not what it was back then, but it's a very different time in the 2000s. It's a different way of doing business.
Oh yeah.
And it's not as, you know, when you come up and say, I want to do a Latino film festival, people just like, what? They didn't understand it. They didn't get it. You know, they think music.
They think you're trying to throw a party.
But a lot of people just thought music and
Who's
like
performing?
What?
Yeah.
I'm just going to sit and watch movies. I'm like, nah, this is a place of business. We want to get the studios involved. We're talking about this entertainment game. This is where it starts, because audio want to be in the movies, right? And then Latinos were dominating on film consumption. We still dominate on film consumption. We still dominate on streaming and mobile consumption.
Yeah.
So if we don't get in now, we're done. And that was, for me, that was what was my driving force. And then we had to teach audiences and the culture of the importance of coming to the festival, because they had never experienced it. And you had to be inclusive to that person in the Bronx or Queens or whatever, regardless of your level of income. If you want to get on this, then there's so many different ways that you can. It's not exclusive. It's not for this only class of Latino. This is for everybody.
Which brings us to the evolution, right?
Yeah.
We're speaking about that and transcending forces. How have you seen Latino storytelling evolve within the media over the past 25 years?
I mean, I think it's certainly elevated, right? You know, we have the director of Blue Beetle came from this festival, you know, Angel Muniz. So, you know, and the guy who does creative for Bad Bunny, you has also done, a lot of work for the festival, and I remember when he first started, and now he's running all of his visuals, all his creative, everything, right? For the past couple of albums, he's been doing this work for him. So, again, I mean, I think, you're seeing an elevation in the content and the creativity. Opening night, this filmmaker's from London. I mean, he's Dominican, Bronx bred, but, he took school in London. You know what I mean? That's different. And he decided to bring a London crew to New York and shoot this movie about Dominicans in the Bronx. You know what I mean? And so that's where you kind of amplify culture. I'm getting a bunch of Londoners to come to the Bronx and make this movie with a bunch of non-actors and non-traditional, folks. And I think that's where you start breaking ground for the next generation. So I think we're seeing a lot of the quality. Certainly this year, the roster is like amazing. And despite everything that's happening in the world, because it's a tough time to be Latino right now, and it's even harder to work in culture spaces, we have over 110 movies. So somehow we know how to find the money. And we certainly have the creativity. That's not going to stop us. And so to do that for 25 years, I don't know if that doesn't tell you something. I don't know what does.
It kind of touches on the next question, right? Which was like in the 25 years of you doing this, and you kind of touched on it a little bit. What would be some of your proudest moments? Because you mentioned some of the filmmakers who have come out of this from being in the festival. What are some moments you could look back to, some films, some things that have come out of this?
Just certainly the celebrity, because we didn't want, we never wanted celebrities above the title. That was easy. And I was like, nah, I don't want it either. I didn't have anything. So no, I don't want any celebrity. And I said, if we did our job so good, then the celebrity has no choice but to come. You have no choice. Yeah, I'm in your face, right? And so that ended up happening. Then you started getting that effect where people come and they show love and what do you want? I was like, what do you need from me? I was like, then that's a great thing when a talent can tell you, hey, I'm here for you, whatever. And so, I don't take any of those things for granted. I think when HBO Latino became to be, you know what I mean? We were the reason why one of the reasons why HBO Latino became to existence as a channel. There wasn't no HBO Latino before we came in. So after the first 2 years, HBO, I gave them, I had the proof in the pudding. And it was enough content to warrant the channel. But you have to have a company that believed in it. So I think that there's that. I think our growth, we've been able to have so many different programs for creatives in different mediums. So we ran a comedy competition program where we gave people an HBO special. Ralph Barbosa, I don't know if you know who he is, but he came from that program. He's a big comedian. And he's a young Latino that's selling out. Like, he has 2 shows coming up at the Beacon, sold out twice. And he's like all over the country. And you have Mark Vieira, who's part of this. And then we've run different programs for Latino directors. We have a Shutterstock program, so we have a photographer here that came up our ranks. Penny's hiring, trying to, take some of my stuff. But anyway.
And when you walked in, you were like, hey, what are you doing here?
No, I knew he got the job. I know, because she stole them from me.
Where's my coffee?
Penny knows the acquisition game herself.
Yeah.
But, that's when you know that's how you play it forward. That's,
correct.
You know what I mean? You give somebody 100%. The job, and they take that and they grow with it. And that's the point of the festival. When you're an audience person, network. You never know. When you're a director, you're an actor. Network, because you never know who you're talking to. And it's usually the silent ones that have the most influence. The people who are less, with the drama and the entourage or whatever, it's the silent ones. That you have, and you never, and I've seen,
because they're studying and watching and paying attention.
Yeah, but I've seen deals be made here. I've had films that found their financing here. I've seen films get acquisitions deal here. I've seen a lot in 25, right? And so, this is not for, closed mouths don't get fed. It's not for the quiet ones. You're serious about your business, you're serious about entertainment, then this is the place to be. And if you're too shy, it ain't for you. But it's important that we understand the business of show just as much as we show the audiences. It's important for them to show up, because you do this, we do this for the culture.
Yep.
We need you to show up. We need you to listen. We need you to buy a ticket. We need you in seats. Every seat means something. And so for me, it's just trying to stay relevant. 25 years later, but I think part of that relevancy is like, I'm always, I love collaborative spaces. I love working with new people. I love, I'm still just as curious. And, I let creativity and I let people I let them do their jobs. I don't try to throw my lived experience on anyone else because, there may be similarities, but my life ain't yours.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tell you what not to do. I'll just tell you what to look out for. And then that's it, and then, film is just art, and film is such a collaborative space that you kind of let it, you need to let it evolve. And so I think that's how we've been able to stay relevant and have our hands, are on the pulse of culture. I don't want to be behind it. I want to be on the pulse of it and not ahead of it.
That's a beautiful outlook on leadership.
Yeah.
Right. As an entrepreneur and running this whole business over 2 decades.
And I had to learn that, right? I didn't know business.
Yeah. How do you...
So I had to learn how to do business.
How do you balance that? The
I'm still
creative side with the organization,
I'm struggling. You know what time I got
organizational,
here.
financial, and leadership responsibilities. How do you balance it all?
I'm still dealing with it.
He's like balance.
I'm not gonna lie.
Balance.
You still
tackle one thing at a time.
Yeah, sometimes I try not to overbook and it happens. But no, I think you learn. I think you do stumble out the gate. And again, I've kind of had to learn on my own because no one, if my own people at the beginning of it were not there, you don't have mentors.
Yeah.
And we're not having the conversations about mentors, or you didn't have shows like this, Teach Me Something. Back then it was Teach Me Nada. They figured out for yourself.
Teach Me Nada.
Teach Me Nada. No, that episode.
This is our social media teaser for the episode.
Look for Teach Me Nada, episode 35 on the way.
And you kind of had to figure it out things for yourself. And so that's where I was. I had to figure it out for myself and read a lot of books.
Yeah.
Trust on my intuition of who was right and who didn't deserve to be in my space, mentally, socially, todo. And figure out how I was going to run a business and be sustainable, not get high in your own supply. I don't need to be up in any party. I don't need to be up in, I don't need to be that way. So I had to learn, I had to have some principles from the start, because when the festival exploded, it went pretty fast. It blew up out the gate. So then you can either, hey, party with, or you can scale back. You're like, wait a minute, now I gotta learn how to lead this thing, because if I don't get a grip on it, then you become something. I think it's something else.
It takes its own force.
And I had to pray up. I really had to think about it and figure it out for myself. And I had principles that I knew I didn't want to. I knew the person I didn't want to be. So I'm going to be the opposite of that. I'm going to function at the opposite of that, and that's what guides me to this day. So yeah,
that's all. That kind of leads right into
beautiful.
the next. That is. Right? That's it. That is, and it leads right into the next question, which is, what advice would you give young entrepreneurs or creatives who want to launch something impactful in their communities?
Be ready for your blessings when they come. Sometimes we're not ready for the blessing when we pray up for it. Yeah. Be ready for your blessing. I think surround yourself with people that, they're not going to yes you, but they're going to give you practical advice. And that's hard to find those people, because everyone's
that support team, right?
Yeah, but it's also hard to find people that don't lay what you did, what happened to you. Yeah. Whatever bitterness or whatever it is, I'm not going to lay it on you. Oh, they did this to me. Y'all don't do. No. They did it to me. That doesn't mean it's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
So what is it? Maybe it's reframing the question is like, okay, how do you teach somebody how to be objective, to listen to their intuition. When we betray our intuition, it always goes south. We're always rushing for the deal. We're rushing to sign. We're rushing. We don't need a rush. Take your time with it. Sign your contract, whatever it is. Do your due diligence on yourself. Do your due diligence with what's in front of you. You don't got to rush for anything. It's good. What's for you is for you, and it's going to be there for you. And I think sometimes we get into, what do you call it? Kind of just like this mentality of scarcity mindset. We don't got to function that way. And I get it. As a Latino culture, we sometimes think from emotion first and not strategy. We got to function in strategy. and encourage people to do the same. And like, okay, what's 4 years for you? We don't got to run for this shit. Excuse my language, but yeah. And that's
we're on a podcast.
But that's what, and that's a mindset shift, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's a generational mindset shift. These young people have it different than we had. We didn't have no social. We didn't have, scrolls of words of, motivation. And everybody trying to be the therapist, whatever. We didn't have that. The therapist, we had to figure it out for ourselves.
100%.
Yep.
So how do I teach you to do that as well? The same things apply. You just have to kill some of the noise, and some of that noise is social. Some of that noise is some other things.
There are so many gems in this one.
Oh
response.
100%.
Kill the noise.
Yeah, follow your heart, follow your intuition.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I know you have this big. Well, first of all, the festival on the way, right? And you have a new project and some things that we're going to talk about that you got coming up.
Yeah. We actually have a tour too. We're on tour right as soon as this is done. We're on tours at 10 markets.
Oh wow.
We also run a
Is this
marketing
the first?
agency.
Is this the first market?
It's my second tour.
Okay. Oh.
Well, we had some tour this, but this is like my.
We're special.
Edit that out. No.
iHeart got the exclusive in our minds.
Yeah.
Well, speak to us about this year's festival.
Mm-hmm.
What are the dates? Where is it? Where can we get tickets?
It's from the 13th through the 21st of September.
Yeah.
And
so we're launching Hispanic Heritage Month.
We launched
with
Hispanic
this festival.
Heritage Month. We launched with this Futuro Digital Conference, which again, we created a separate, dedicated track just for, digital content creators and social influencers because, again, you could have the same follower count as a Kardashian, and if you're Latino, you don't get paid the same rate. So how do we start, with the same follower count, right? And so how do we start providing rooms of equity? How do we talk to each other of best practices? How do we keep track of our digital mental wellness? How do we talk about money? Because all of us are entrepreneurs, and yet we don't think about retirement or what happens next. You know what I mean? And we need to start, within a business, there's a business of life, right? And so we have that track, and then we open with Mad Bills to Pay 2 days later, which is our opening night, which one's Sundance. And then we have, just films back to back. Michelle Rodriguez, she's getting our Impact Award. We just announced that yesterday. And we've given the Impact Award to John Leguizamo, Andy Garcia, and Diesel's gotten one,
When is the award?
When is the awards? It's on Friday, the week of the festival, Friday, the 19th.
Nice.
So
and then terminamos el festival con qué? What do we end with?
We end with a block party.
Nice.
I love this. Great host. We end with a block party, and it's going to be
Last
good.
year was crazy.
Last year was crazy. We launched the Penguin, so we turned Quisqueya Plaza in Washington and in Dykeman into Gotham City. We had trains.
That's awesome.
We had the Maserati there. It was so many concerts.
And it was a launch. You said the Penguin.
We had the
show?
actors, yeah. So we launched the show there, and then at night people got to see the first episode. This year it's being presented by Amazon MGM. So we have a whole Amazon village. That's gonna be fun. I can't tell you what it looks like, but I know what it looks like. But it's gonna look dope. We're still putting it together.
So we're taking over the festival.
Yeah,
is what we're doing.
I'm already putting it in my calendar. Yeah.
We have concerts. Jay Noah, who's a Dominican rapper, she's closing out. She's the headliner. For the concert section of it. But there's food, there's drinks, there's photos. It's a vibe. It's the last block party of the summer.
And this is the same. It's going to be in the same location.
It's no. It's in Dykeman.
Dykeman.
Yeah. So the festival takes place in Union Square.
Mm-hmm.
We take over the Regal, the top floor of the Regal. Then we have a separate event. We in United Palace. We have a whole premiere there. And then within the festival, there's different forums and panels. Yeah. We have an event at Warner Brothers. We have an event at 30 Rock. There's different things.
So it's not all in one place.
It's all scattered. Okay. It's a festival.
This will be my first year going. So.
All right. Yeah, so it literally is a festival. Awesome. You get
Share
in.
the
you're lucky.
If
I can get in, I'm going to go with her.
Preserve.
Yeah.
I don't know who she is.
Teach me something's in the building.
Teach me something.
Teach me something's in the building.
Yeah,
we're just going to take over Regal. You imagine? We can just start interviewing people as they come up.
You should. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people there, A lot of the talent shows up the night before, so that's why,
Yeah.
But, yeah.
No, but this is cool. And what's the website? Where
NYLFFFestival.com, and our social handles across all platforms at NY Latino Film Festival. So check us out on IG. Our Instagram is really very much a community. It's not so much where we only hawk our wares. It's very
amazing,
very community, very about like everything. We joke about it. Like there's a lot of call and response. We have diehard followers, which is great.
So cool.
You know, even when
shout out to Led Uptown Collective, who runs your socials. He's phenomenal. He's amazing.
My media team is the best.
He's amazing.
We're looking at new cats. We're already interviewing new cats for the media team, and then it resonates on our tour. Like, you know, we were in Puerto Rico. We sold out 3 days at the T-Mobile Center, and we're going back to PR this year. We're trying to make an effort to go to DR next year in 26. This year we're going to Texas, LA, Miami. Chicago.
That's amazing for you to have started with just a dream and now have grown this where you're just
crazy
beyond nationwide.
And
that's amazing.
What's even
and they did a documentary on you as well last year.
I don't know what they did, but we were it was a spot for Nissan, but yes, there's that. And I think what's really sweet is when people people on social have been saving whether it's ticket stubs or merch or whatever, people save stuff. Latinos don't throw stuff where we hoard, which I appreciate. And people show me stuff I don't even have.
So they're tagging you on like memorabilia?
They tag the festival's account on like memorabilia, or like we used to get dope bags like every year. Like I'm talking about like we used to buy like fly bags that were collectibles.
That's so
every
cool.
year. And they would be from like brands like Yak Pack or whatever, or we did a thing with some other big bag brand. And
that's so cool. So we have one of the festival shirts here in studio today.
Yes, where's the camera?
What's the merch gonna look like this year?
I don't have the shirt with me. It's still in production. But it's dope. But you know, you can see it in bus shelters when we're all over the city, from White Plains to Staten Island.
Oh,
so
amazing.
I got to see we were in front of Drew Barrymore's studio, so I was driving around and we saw it.
Oh, that's right around the corner.
Yeah. And so
cool.
I told my friend to stop the car, and like it was my first time seeing it. Like, you know.
Oh, I love it.
But everyone's been taking pictures with it, and I haven't done it, so I did one picture yesterday. And you know, that stuff still excites me. That stuff,
of course.
You know, that's a dream, bro. It's if you only knew.
Which brings us to, you've been so well about segueing to our next question.
Yeah,
He has no idea.
He has. It's been flowing right into
I know.
To the next.
If you could describe the legacy of the New York Latino Film Festival in one word.
Just one word.
What would that word be? We haven't had anyone say no to answering this question yet, so.
That would be one word.
No.
Maybe the promise. Promise.
I love
promise
that.
of us. In anything that we're doing. You know? Like when we come together, that's, you know, we're resilient, especially now. It's a different, you know, it's interesting times. But I think there's that. We're still showing up. We're still committing to our promise, you know, to bring the best of ourselves, to show up in the best of ourselves, whether it's on film, comedy, everything that we touch, even to the audience, right? Like if you show up in whatever money, financial situation, and you decide to come, that you made that promise to yourself. Walk away with something.
That's beautiful.
And so I think that there's that.
Promise.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's
love
beautiful. It reminds me of like Romeo and Usher, but you know, the song. The song.
I didn't think that. Teach me something, girl.
I don't think that's what he meant.
Teach me.
No, yeah, you know. It's my quirkiness. So ya saben, esta semana se lanza el New York Latino Film Festival. So compren sus boletos at, what was the website?
NYLFFFestival.com.
Get your tickets. Follow NYLFF on IG and all of the socials. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You know, I was about to clap back and say promise, so I thought of Aventura.
Yeah.
Promise, yes.
Promise, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That was a bad
Everything
joke. I tried to interject it, but whatever.
Everything circles back to Aventura. They are the pioneers for so many things.
Yeah, and they started young too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So encourage your kids.
So old.
You never know where they're gonna go. Encourage everyone you speak to. Put some promise in your language.
That's why we're here.
You'll receive it.
All right. So thank you for listening to Teach Me Nada with
with Penny. And Teach
Pro
Me Something was with Pro.
Hey, thanks for listening. Tune in next week
for an all new episode of Teach Me Something.
brought to you by Berkeley College.